Hi, welcome to U.S. Immigration Talk Live. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi, founder of the JQK Law Firm, focused on U.S. immigration, as well as the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox, focused on helping other immigration lawyers, other lawyers learn about U.S. immigration law. This podcast and recording a live session is for JK Law. We're going to take your questions live about U.S. immigration and do our best to educationally explain the situation. We can't give individual legal guidance, but we could do that. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Instagram, which I actually forgot to press the go live button on Instagram. So let's get that Instagram page started, as well as TikTok, where you get a bunch of cases and a bunch of people asking the same question over and over again, literally copy pasting, other than just same questions about timelines. And we'll do our best not to get impatient about that. But thank you very much for joining us. All these different platforms. We come every week, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we take your questions live about U.S. immigration. If you're interested in marriage green card cases, fiance visa cases, which is frankly, that's the top two favorite kind of cases. That's one. The other is the EB1A. Those two awesome kinds of cases. We've primarily have focused on the last 5 years on marriage cases, helping couples with fiance cases, marriage cases. So that's what we're really good at. And so just hit us up if you have questions. Download our guide. We have a 40-plus page guide called the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide, John's Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That website to download that PDF is marriageimmigrationlaw.com. So feel free to shoot out your questions as they come. We'll try to get to all of them, or as many as we can. Farid on Instagram says, how long is the interview waiting list? There's a lot of different interview waiting lists, and they don't reveal those to us. So no answer to that one. That's a good start to today's session. Mapri says, an F1 visa, student visa terminated and applies for asylum. And after getting work permit, he can study. Yeah, I mean, if you're asylum pending and you get a work permit, studying should be okay. Okay, we got all this different tech. I'm trying to move things around. It's freezing. What's going on here? Okay, I think we're going to get back in session. All right. So, what news came out actually about an hour ago, which is very important. I want everyone who's going to submit an immigration case be aware of this, that the fees are going to increase for USCIS, the published fees that they just announced. A 7-year hiatus on fee increases were occurring, but they jacked it up. And they're going to go in effect pretty fast. April 1st, 2024 is when fees are going to increase for a lot of different types of USCIS cases, particularly for marriage green card cases. There's an increase in particular to that for not just marriage, but adjustment of status. When you're going to get a green card from within the United States, they're going to start charging for work permits and travel authorization advance pro, which has never been done. So this is for adjustment of status cases. So it's a big deal and affects a lot of our clients because it adds like $1,000+ in fees and stuff like that. So be aware of that situation. It's popping up. Next question. Humba says, if someone overstays a B1, B2 visa, does it affect the person who invites them to the USA? There's no such thing really as invitation letters, so it shouldn't affect the person unless you're helping you commit some sort of fraud or something like that, which I highly doubt is the case. But typically, no, it shouldn't affect them. There's no really sponsor for a tourist visa. Rafam says, after I-130 approval and submission for RFE medicals, how long and before can you sue USCIS? You can sue whatever you want. So people sometimes wait 6 months. Chrissy says, how long does a green card take if a U.S. citizen files for their parents? It depends on what country they're from and where the parent's located, and unless they have other violations. But typically a case like that will be 2.5 years on average. About a year for the first step. It could be 6 months, 8 months, it could be 12, 13. But to prove that your parent's really a parent, if your parent's overseas, then in the next step, the embassy process could be 6 months, it could be 2 years, because it depends on how backed up the U.S. embassy that you're dealing with is. Is it Pakistan or is it Paris? So it makes a big difference. If you're doing the United States, it can be much faster. A great question. All right, let's go back to TikTok. Irfan says, how long does marriage green card take after medical procedure? It's just however long they want it to take. Manpreet asked about educational benefits of asylee. I don't go into that kind of stuff. You have to ask your school about what's best. Joy says, how long are you seeing change of status of different visas? That's not a good question because each visa category is different and they have different things. So it's not something that's comparable. Em says, can I get a U.S. passport if I have unpaid traffic tickets? You got to pay all your bills. So I wouldn't risk applying. Go pay your traffic tickets. I wouldn't file the case. Traffic tickets, you can't have outstanding debts to the government. It looks like bad moral character, so they could deny that. So I wouldn't do that. Moni says, hi, if a parent cannot read but write, can they still apply for citizenship? Reading is required. It's very basic reading. So if they know a little bit, it's enough. If they know how to write, they probably know how to read. But there's unless you fall under one of the exceptions for how long they've had a green card and or their health situations that prevent them from learning English, you got to do the reading part, but it's not that hard. Mohammed says, how long is it taking for getting U.S. citizenship after getting marriage-based green card? Well, it depends on if you've been married to a U.S. citizen or not. It depends on if you satisfied the requirements for early filing for citizenship. But let's say 3 years, and then in case it could take 2 months, it could take a year to actually process after you submitted it. Jesus says, I submitted my DACA application on August 2023. Then a few weeks later, I submitted my U visa application. I have yet to receive my DACA. Jesus, if you are a new DACA applicant, then they're not going to approve those right now. They're only renewing existing DACA people. So that's that. And U visa is a whole separate thing. So that's just separate from there. Merlin says, can a U.S. citizen parent file for a child over 20 years old? Yes, they can. There's 2 categories. If the child's single, it's F1, adult U.S. citizen, child of U.S. citizen, or if they're married, it's F3, adult married child U.S. citizen. What's important in that, Merlinda, is that the timelines are pretty steep for both those. If you're single, it's better, but it's possible to do it, but it's just take a while. Jesus says, I called USCIS and they told me that my case needs to be further reviewed. I guess it's got to happen. Joel says, how long to get documents after I-360 approved with deferred action? I don't know about timelines. Miriam says, I'm from Canada. My dad brought us into the U.S. on a person of interest visa. I'm not sure there's no person of interest visa. You have to be more specific what that is, what the category is. Shab Moore says, am I able to renew my expired passport after I-130 is approved? Your expired passport is something that's done by your home country. So that has nothing to do with USCIS. So if you need to renew a passport, you could do it. And it's recommended you want to have some valid form of ID. Paranoid Android, a regular, good to see us, says, what if a U.S. citizen child files for a parent? How will they show they can support parent combined income? Well, for a U.S. citizen child to apply for a parent, they have to be 21 years old. So typically they have work by that time. The only way they could use the parent support is if the parents earn money lawfully. For an affidavit of support for green card purposes, a financial sponsor has to lawfully be earning money. So the parents probably in this case, most of the time, won't be able to show they had a valid work permit. So the child would probably get it if they're not making enough money themselves and they're 21 over, not really a child anymore, but child tech, quote unquote, for these purposes. They probably find a joint sponsor if they're not working themselves. Starlight says, you will ask, but he will not answer you. That's not true. Safia says, can I apply for a green card as soon as my asylum is granted? With the new rules, yes, but I'd probably wait a while. It's kind of weird how they're going to do it. They have a new rule, which is a clarification of badly written laws, which says you can file for a green card as soon as you get your asylum approved. But when the case is done, 1 year has to have passed since you have an asylum case. So you think USCIS would sit on it, wait a year, then approve it. But a colleague said a case got denied for not having their green card or asylum long enough. So it's just inconsistency until we see more regular examples of that happening. I'd probably wait a little bit. But there might be other attorneys who do these up every day and they see it more than I do, so it might have a different opinion. Bro says, I already have healthcare exam. How long it take for green card? I don't know. I-24 expedite request denied. I'm sorry. Maybe you filed I-130 or something like that, but that's going to probably take this as long. Melvin, one of regular to the CS. Hey, John, please, when can I expect my interview for spouse visa? The MVC said they will work with the embassy of my home country for that. Melvin, please remind me your home embassy. I don't have an answer to how long it'll take because it depends on the embassy, but remind me of who the embassy is so you have an idea of how long and when your case was documentarily qualified. Daria says, do you have to renew your expired 10-year green card before applying for citizenship? No, they just changed the rules recently saying you don't need to do that. Amazing says, what do I expect after failing to find a lawyer in my master hearing? Now I have one, though. After failing to find a lawyer in my master hearing, now I have one, though. I don't know. Like, you talk with the lawyer. They need to put some stuff into the system for you. Fark says, what is the estimated wait time for green card medical course? There's no estimated wait time. Sadie says, so if I apply for my wife's spouse petition and then she needs a student visa, would that cancel? They don't cancel, but they'll probably won't approve the student visa, the F1. Jesus says, what happens? I am not, but I can't remember which original question was. Sorry. Leo says, how long does MBC take to schedule an interview? It depends on the embassy. It's different. Jesus says, I renewed it. Okay, so good. It was a renewal. Good. YP says, my case was approved in 2023, approved my income for 2022, and they asked for income 2023. Yeah, they want updated income to show you're still working. Paranoid humanoid. It's not paranoid android. It's paranoid humanoid. Paranoid. Have I been calling you paranoid android for all these years, and you're just really paranoid humanoid, or you just change your screen name? That's terrible. I've been reading your name for like 2 years. Paranoid android for some reason. Another question. When visa holders with valid work authorization, H-1B, O1, L1, earn income, can they set up S corps to save on taxes? No, because the S corp, then they'd probably be self-employed, or like they're working for their own company. So the visa for H-1B, O, or L is for that one person. If the income goes, no, there's issue because they're going to be self-employed. There's things where you could hire out somebody in certain of these cases, or the payment for their services goes to other locations. But this is a kind of a tax question too, which I don't think any accountant knows the answer to. But I wouldn't mess around and do an S corp because I can't say for sure, but it seems like problematic because it might look like you're playing games with the system to do some stuff. So there's an IRS issue and potential immigration issue by being self-employed, or the entity getting payment is not the person who's sponsor. So I'm not positive. I never had thought about this situation before. I'd be very hesitant to do a conservative, but it deserves more research potentially. But this thing has to be looked into. Melvin says, my home embassy is Lagos, Nigeria for the spouse. Oh my God, Melvin, I'm so sorry you're in Nigeria. not that sorry you're in Nigeria. I'm sorry that you have to deal with the U.S. embassy in Nigeria, because that sucker's backed up for like 2 years. It's like not moving, unfortunately. I'm sorry to hear it. Sorry about that. Ola says, can I apply for citizenship when my I-751 is pending? If you satisfy the requirements, yeah. And can I travel out of the USA and come back with the I-751 extension letter? Yeah. Not only the extension letter, but the expired green card. But if you satisfy the requirements for citizenship, physical presence, continuous presence, no bad issues and stuff, you could do it. Okay, let's take a look at Instagram really quick. Okay, we got a bunch of questions. How long does USCIS take to respond to RFU medical? There's no timeline. Asylum closed. I-130 is approved. Case in MBC, file 618. Can I apply for advanced parole? You give it a shot. Depends on them if they want to prove it. DA says, how long does I-290B take? Probably 6 months to a year. MK Glamour says, if you as a petitioner complete the I-138 for your spouse beneficiary, do you sign the prepare section I-138, or do you leave out a section alone? It's up to you. If you prepare to put your name in there, usually as a law firm, we always put ourselves to prepare, so that's never been an issue. But I can't guide as to how to prepare an application yourself, MK Glamour Girl. But if you're the prepare, then prepare. And curious because I don't want to come back on me. Paulie says, USCIS requested tax transcript from IRS, but it's been 2 months. IRS just procrastinating. What can we do? It's been just 2 months. I don't know. Contact the IRS, see what you can do, and just contact and see what you can do. I don't know what to tell you. Chrissy says, how long? Usually we just get this stuff at the beginning, so we don't have to deal with USCIS asking for it. Chrissy says, how long will you take to get your social security number, your citizen child files for you? You have to get your work permit first, and it's pretty quick, but it depends on where you are in the world, what kind of case you have, all that kind of stuff. Babyface says, hello, good night. My father is 55 years old, living in the U.S. for the last 15 years. He has a green card holder, speaks English. He has not taken the citizenship exam. Due to the fact that he cannot read or write, I am seeking information to find a special circumstance. We got to study the situation and see what special circumstances health-wise occur, and history of his, like, how old he is. I know you told me how old he is, but we got to sit and analyze. This is too case specific. So Babyface, you have to schedule a private consultation with my office to go into your unique case. But if you could show it, potentially you get one of the exceptions, either a translator, oral only, no reading and writing. All these exceptions exist. Roger says, I am having F-21 visa, waiting for interview at the NBC. My husband just received his American passport and is no longer green card holder. How would this affect our case? Well, F-21, is that a spouse of a green card holder? You need to update the case. So you contact the embassy and National Visa Center, let them know your husband's a passport holder now, so your case becomes an IR1 kind of case, IR5, IR1, whatever these different codes are. All right. Layla says, so glad to see you live again. I forgot to ask you the other day, my boss is in a visa U process. He doesn't have any legal documents yet, awaiting work permit. Can he still sponsor me? It's not your boss that's sponsoring you. It would be a corporate entity that sponsor you. Can he still sponsor me without an SSO? The corporation has to do the process. It doesn't matter what the boss is and stuff like that. Old Bayou says, is it possible for me to get a stamp on my passport travel since my I-751 is pending? I'm more comfortable to stamp my passport. If yes, can consult. Old Bayou, the extension notice is what they give. They won't give you more if you have the extension notice. Kate Potter says, is there a possibility that we won't get an interview with adjustment of status? He had a visa. Yeah, a lot of those are getting waived right now. And Mahid asks, can I file for PD before I-130 is approved. What does it mean the review date changes? Dates change. Maybe you can. I'm not sure. I mean, that's too case specific. Leo says, how long does the embassy take to schedule an interview after approve your case? It depends on the embassy and how backed up they are. Have you seen fast approvals for IL-618 after heart? They recently have gotten a little faster. Danny says, how to get asylum detainer out fast? We don't handle asylum or detained cases. Isara says, after 5 years of residency, married but separated, do I still have to file taxes together? Citizenship? That's a tax question, but if you're not married or you want to file separately, that's an accounting issue. Tammy says, how long does the embassy schedule? We answer that question. We got the typical TikTok repeats that we got to spin through. I-864 processing 12 months, 13 months. Yeah, unfortunately, they're super backed up. Lydia says, based on a U visa green card, can I apply for travel documents? U visa green card holder. If you have a green card holder, you don't need travel documents. I don't understand. All right, we got a lot of. Okay, I'm just gonna skip a lot of these repeat questions. Go to the end. How do you expedite DACA renewal? You contact them and say I need to expedite and have a reason for it. Ali says, in 2025, I have my asylum court date. We don't handle asylum cases or court cases. It says next month I have my I-130 interview after 4 years. What after? I don't know what the base of your case is, so I can't really respond to that one, unfortunately, Amir. All right, so Babyface says, thank you, you're welcome. Adam says, if someone, oh my God, TikTok's feed for questions is so crazy that it's hard to keep track of what's going on with all the emails. I mean, messages coming through. Okay. Oscar, can my company sponsor me? I have DACA and I've come back to country with AP. You're going to have issues because it depends on if you maintain. It's possible, but there's a lot going on there. You probably have to go to the embassy, do your interview. So we have to check out your background and see if that's possible. It's not impossible, but there's I cannot answer here because I got to check your paperwork and talk with you. How long does it take? Does a joint motion reopen take? However long the government wants to take. Why is spousal visas taking so long? Because the bureaucracy is backed up. Lita says, thank you for answering. You're welcome. Miss Wilco says, when will the new fees be effective? USCIS is increasing its fees. They're going to effect April 1st, 2024. They just announced it like an hour ago. Safia says, can I apply for refugee travel document as soon as my asylum is granted? Yeah, you should do that. It's good to have. Mimi Love says, how long for work permit pending for 8 months under green card application? It could be 3 to 9 months on average. It could be longer. Contact USCIS. If someone have an asylum from another country and apply for asylum USCIS possible, we don't handle asylum law. I won't be able to help you with that. AJ says, I-130 approved, U.S. citizen spouse, DQ by embassy timeframe. It's probably going to take a year and a half. Let's say like 9 months to 18 months or something like that for Islamabad right now. Giancarlo says, family of 3 gets visa, proof of travel. Is it okay if one person travels first and the rest later? If it's a tourist visa, you can travel as you like individually. Each of you got your own independent visas. Okay. Abdul Talat says, if I'm documented qualified, how much longer can I anticipate? I don't know. Ankar's probably taking a year more to get an interview for Iranian cases, at least. I'm not sure about Turkish cases. I have some Turkish cases pretty faster. Those take like 4 months or something like that. Carl says, I'm a U.S. citizen. Husband is on F1 visa, I-45 pending. No ITIN, no SSN. How to file taxes joint. He could have requested an ITIN. He's requested SSN. I can't give accounting advice here, unfortunately. This is why you have a higher office to get certain information, but I can't give like accounting information in a public forum like this. So unfortunately, we'll be able to help you with that. The Rod Farm says, how long is the process for naturalization? Average like 2 to 8 months. It's really faster right now. Election years to make it faster. We're getting interviews after 2 months. It's kind of nuts in Atlanta and Los Angeles. There's a lot of stuff going on. Natalia said, hello, can aliens who are paroled at the board of entry, but they are removal proceedings, file for adjustment if married U.S. citizen granted USS? Probably. We need to see what's going on in your case, though, what kind of parole you're given. Victor says, hey, so I married a U.S. citizen spouse a month ago. When can I file? Hey, I don't know. I have to see what your background is and all that kind of stuff, Victor. So schedule a consultation with us or intake person at our firm, Victor, because that's just not enough information. But check out our guide. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com, down the guide on that. Nurse Cece says, I complete I-130 for my mom in Haiti. The embassy is closed till 2026. Will they deny my case? No, they'll probably transfer your case to another embassy. Rika says, my husband is from Zambia and we filed for I-130. Should I file I-129 to speed up the process? You can. Probably nothing's going to happen, but hey, give it a shot. Carl says, I'm a U.S. citizen. Husband. We answered that one, I think. I can't answer timeline questions. So a lot of that, a lot of this, how long this. If I come to U.S. on a visitor visa, I want to marry my U.S. citizen lady. Can I do it right? You can't come with the intent to get married and stay here, but if you decide to change afterwards, probably. but I need more information. FIP says, what state are you in? California, but all our consultations are done by video. So we have lawyers in like Virginia too. So do you offer free consultations? No, we don't. John Carlos says, okay, answer that question. Carl, you're welcome. Fatima says, how long does it take after biometric to get your permit? There's no correlation. Nadia, good to see you from Arizona. How about removal conditions? How fast that processing? 6 months to 3 years. Ariane says, I have a green card. Can I apply for my mom? No, you have to be a U.S. citizen. They approve my wife. Can I get a new wife? If they don't approve my wife, can I get a new wife? If you like, anything's possible. Let's see if Instagram questions exist. Real Shadabi says, what is the waiting time for I-485? The I-130 is approved national benefits center, RFC Mexico. There's no timelines they can rely upon. They're like all over the place. Nanu asked, when filing for a marriage-based green card, do you add your joint bank account from the start, or I'm not sure, you wait to get work permit first? Different lawyers have and law firms have different ways of thinking about this. We submit as much joint documents and evidence as possible at the beginning, so it's all in the file instead of waiting to give it at some future time. I don't want to risk them not getting important stuff. User 8 says, hey, John, good to see you again. I've been waiting my I-485 for 364 days. Do you think that's long? No, these things take time, but it's all over the place. LinkedIn user says, the request for humanitarian parole for an individual who is outside the U.S., and we are using I-131, I-134. The I-131 part information should be for the person. The I-130 part 1 information should be the person filing the form and not for the beneficiary. Is that what the instructions say? I want to confirm. The I-134, I can't give you a guidance on how to mark this stuff. Honestly, I can't remember to see the form, how it's written. But typically, it's the person that's filing for financial sponsorship that we put as signer. But I can't say that for sure. I can't remember. I don't do I-134s that often. Like once or twice a year for a K-1 case, we do that. And they recently, after they established a new U4U, the special Ukrainian program and Venezuelan program for parole and stuff like that, they updated the form I-134. So they changed how that form looked like than what it had been for the last 20 years or something like that. So that's why I don't have it on top of my head, because I've only used the new form like once or twice. So that's why I don't want to give guidance to something I can't remember exactly right now. Okay, we got a lot of timeline questions, which, as you all know by now, if you're regulars, that we can't answer because it's not possible to answer those kind of questions. No one knows. Ron says, how long does it take approval? I-130, 12 months. I'm citizen, husband in Ethiopia. Yeah, I don't know, probably 12 months, but Ethiopia is going to be a while to get an interview probably. User 38 says, hi, John, good to see you. I answered that question. I skipped through a million questions because on TikTok, people were asking the same thing over and over again. And I just went to the most recent one. So feel free to re-ask your question only once. If it's multiple times, then I'm just going to ignore it. TikTok can't handle the number of people contacting right now. It's not that much. 1.3 thousand hearts. What is that? 33 people. Okay. Camille says, my husband needs to be here pretty soon because if not, we need to wait for 8 years before he comes. I'm not sure what that's all about. Schedule a consultation. How long is it? Romex says, if I answer that one, a lot of repeats. How long take to buy or answer that? Okay, we got a lot of repeats that I answered already. What about repeats that I haven't answered? Okay, Run says, so the I-131 is for the person requesting it. That's the person who signs. That's for the humanitarian parole. I-131 is the actual foreign national. Ask that. KP says, sir, how long travel documents? I don't know. No one knows. Okay, just all the questions are about how long things are taking. So I don't know. If you have other kind of questions I can explain, let me know. But the government is going to take how long the government takes. We never really know. Mr. Afam says, I-130 approved for after initial denial and APA filed. USCIS request for RFE medicals haven't submitted. What should I expect? File date December 30th. I-130 approved last month. Well, it's really I-485, but and they're going to get to it when they get to it. So we have cases where we submit the medical RFE and the case is approved within 24 hours. And then we have other 6-7 months still nothing has happened, and then they get approved. So it's really inconsistent. Lovely says, why security clearance after 545 interview marriage case, and how long does it take? I don't know, and I don't know. No one knows. USCIS knows. The government knows. And how long it takes, no one really knows. Knows. Although it says, how long does it take for I-75 to be approved? 6 months, 4 years. It could be any of those. Preet says, when visa bulletin move? I don't check every time. We see some stuff. Kian Farahani, how good to see you. Hey, John, my wife's green card case was approved last year. Congrats. I was petitioning for her as a green card holder. However, I obtained my citizenship a few days ago. And now I'm wondering if this change of status of me would make the embassy schedule an interview faster. Probably because the line for a green card holder got super backed up. So if they think it's a green card case, there's a 4-year line. Now, I'm not sure when your I-130 was submitted. I can't remember right now, but like, update them and let them know it's an immediate relative case now, not a F2A preference category. And that should right now be a meaningful difference because it moves up. But you just got to let them know and repeat and make sure they get it because they're busy. Can I travel to Jamaica on my travel documents? It's for 5 years. You can't, if you're a green card holder, you can't be leaving the United States for that long period of time. That's not a good idea. Okay, Tony, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm like getting a lot of thank yous right now. If TikTok's features a little better, we can answer these better. Thank you says, any new green card interview questions for 2024? New green card questions? No, but like more and more that technology is getting better, so they could do better background checks on you, better social media checks, credit checks, and all that kind of stuff. So, you got to be prepared to answer everything. If you are living with your spouse and you lease a second place, that second lease potentially had a credit check done on it. So if the officer asks, do you have any other houses? You go, well, I've leased this place. Maybe I use it as a warehouse. Maybe I use it as an office or something. That kind of stuff does come up more and more with the increase in technology and how well things are connected. Shrek says, is it best to open a joint account before or after I get married? You should really just do joint account stuff with what you personally feel like doing. So like, don't do it if you want to do a joint account now, do it. If not, later. Because the government wants to see like natural kind of stuff. You open an account and you spend money in it, use it, put money in it, and that's it. So it's just opening accounts not that important itself. It's just they want to see the use of it happening. Okay, let's see. So, that's the thing. When you're preparing these bona fides, you want to get as much as possible. Some people like less, but I just want more. So we have inundate them with evidence. Why not do it like that? Illegal entry. What happens next? They'll try to deport you unless you got some reason to be able to be here. Ola, we answered that question. Okay, so we're drawing to an end to our show for tonight. We're close. If you have some final questions, let me know. I'm Immigration Lawyer John Khosravi. I really, focus on client satisfaction. For us, I just got a review for a family marriage case we did, and they left such a wonderful review on Google. It really expresses and talks about like how we work and how we care and how much time we want to spend with our clients, which is not to throw other lawyers on the bus, but it's not financially feasible to do what we do. We take a loss, but like what's really important is that we develop a relationship with you guys. That's the number one goal we have, that relationship, the duty we have, then business. Although business is very important, we got to keep the doors open. That's the biggest thing I can say that really sets us apart. And we also not only care about the clients, we care about the law. It's interesting to learn. So we're constantly being educated. That's why at the beginning of the show, I talked about the second company I have, which trains immigration lawyers. We're really into learning as much as possible. Vicky says, how much you charge for a green card interview? I don't go to interviews. I try to avoid going to interviews for cases I didn't start from the beginning. It depends on your location. But Vicky, email the office with where you're located and interview dates. But most likely I won't be able to come. But send it over and maybe I get you some information that could be helpful. Having said all that, I want to thank everyone who joined us today. We'll be back again next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Take your questions live by U.S. Immigration on all these different apps. I might do less apps, might not do Twitter next time or something like that, because I think it's slowing down some coverage and some of the systems having all these things happen at once. Having said that, everyone, God bless, be safe. Email is info@jqqlaw.com. And that's that. Paranoid Humanoid. Thank you. I appreciate it. Client relations is paramount. Reputation can be bought. Money always falls after. God bless you. That's it right there. All right, everyone. Thanks. Bye-bye.